Hey everyone, welcome to Neekology out in the field. We're here with Gary today talking about lightsabers, so it's going to be a real treat for everyone. Hey Gary.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Doing well? All right,
yeah.
Cool. So just how about we tell all of our viewers a little bit about yourself, and then
okay.
We'll just be natural.
I'm a California kid, born in Los Angeles. Grew up in the LA area.
Okay.
Went to school in the LA area. Went to college out here, went to professional school. I'm actually a dentist.
Okay.
And so I kind of like to tinker and play with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, I love to ride motorcycles. I'm a pilot. I do all kinds of fun stuff. So,
exciting.
Yeah, I try and keep my life full.
Yeah.
But not too full. Yeah, my wife doesn't like it when it gets too full.
No, she likes to take up.
Well, yeah,
like have that time.
She's an important part of that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you know.
Awesome.
Anyway.
So lightsabers, big fan?
I love Star Wars.
It's awesome.
I've loved Star Wars since it came out in '77.
Woo!
I was in high school, and my best friend and I were we were really into that. Mm-hmm. We had a Halloween party at the school. He dressed up as Darth Vader. He got a really nice costume, and I made us a couple of lightsabers out of flashlights.
Wow.
And these little golf tubes and some colored cellophane. And I dressed up like Luke Skywalker, and his sister dressed up like Princess Leia.
Wow.
We had a ball. So since then, and then you know, later on in life, I got into actually making them.
But that was the impetus for you.
Oh yeah, that was the interest. I always had an interest in it. So
awesome. Cool. So basically, that's how you got started in the lightsaber building, or was that like?
Well, not really. It's kind of obtuse.
Okay.
Actually, in my dental office, I had one of my dental chairs break.
Okay.
And so, in the process of finding out how much it was going to cost to repair that chair, I decided to purchase a hobby lathe and mill. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really got into actually making lightsabers. Because after I repaired the chair, I thought, you know what? I've always wanted an Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber. So I found a picture on the internet, and I took my little caliper and I measured approximately how big things were. And after about the fourth try, I had a pretty good copy of it.
Wow.
You'll see it later.
Yeah, and we'll get into all the lightsabers, and Gary, you will explain all of the different parts and everything, so it'll be amazing. So would you consider yourself like an expert on lightsabers?
I would say that's a really nebulous term.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty good at doing a lot of stuff. I am not a machinist. So for you guys out there that are machinists, please try not to gag when you see some of my work. Keep in mind that what I'm doing is art. Okay. I am not doing machine work because I'm not replicating something from a plan. Okay. I don't use technical drawings to make what I make. I'll do a sketch of something, and then I use that as reference, but I don't have, you know, sizes and stuff like that on there, nor am I reproducing them in mass.
Okay.
So I'm not really a machinist. I would call myself an artist. So in that case, if you want to say expert, I'd say, you know, I've been doing this for probably, you know, 15, 18 years. So I have some experience doing it. Okay. There are many people out there that are as good or way better than I am, and we can talk about some of those guys. They were very influential in me learning how to do certain things. Yeah. So, you know, absolutely hats off to the people who basically taught me through YouTube and stuff how to do things.
Wow. So it's pretty fluid, your process of conception of an idea for a saber to the finished product. You're just kind of taking the hits as they come.
I get inspiration from all kinds of stuff. When I'm out and about doing whatever, shopping at the grocery store or going to the hardware store or, you know, whatever, I notice interesting objects, and my phone is filled with pictures of those weird things. And one little part of something that I see will actually end up as an idea for something I'm going to do.
Wow.
So
the shapes and things
absolutely.
Like that. Awesome. Okay.
Even artwork, Art Deco stuff, anything you can imagine, you can conceptualize into some of the intricate details of something you're going to make.
Awesome. Wow.
And you have to plan these things. You can't just, you know, start working on a mill or lathe. You have to kind of plan what you're going to do ahead of time, and they have to be done in a certain sequence. And sometimes if you don't do that right, well, then you end up making something completely different.
Wow. Okay. Sorry about the swatting. We have some bats in here. So what are some of like the larger challenges that you've come across when designing, or like the technical lathing or drilling and things like that? What are some of the larger design complications that you come across?
The most complicated things that I do are making sure that my wiring doesn't show. I don't want exposed wires anywhere that you can see them.
Okay.
There are times when you can do that, but even they have to be covered up with something like a conduit of some sort, just so it doesn't look cheesy. So planning where that's going to happen and how that wire is going to go from the front of your lightsaber to the chip where the controller is, those are all things you have to consider. That's probably the most challenging part of it. And then the other thing is working with softer materials. Brass and copper look beautiful. They're really nice to work with as far as what the finished product looks like. But actually cutting copper is really fun. It's like trying to hacksaw through gum.
Wow.
It's just
that
soft. It's soft, and it catches your tools and wants to twist them out of the clamp or the headstock. Or it can be a mess.
Wow.
So those are the things that you have to really kind of plan ahead.
Wow. That's interesting. I would never even thought about that. Like my extension into the Star Wars lightsaber, like I'm semi-knowledgeable on some things, but like I have 3D printed Obi-Wan that I made, and then I have a modified Black Series from Hasbro, and that's about as far as it gets for me. But it's been fun. So you said that some of the other creators in the Star Wars fandom, for the lightsabers at least, has influenced you. So how have they helped you in a way to overcome some of those challenges, or even just inspiration?
Well, I didn't know the first thing about the electronics of a lightsaber with sound. Okay. And there's a gentleman on the internet, Rob Petcow. He's from Canada. I'm actually Canadian. By my parents' birth. He has posted dozens and dozens of videos on how to do wiring and so forth. And basically, he and some of the other guys that I've seen on Facebook and some of the other websites have taught me how to do certain things. And I look at that, and I'm reasonably talented. I have coordination. I can, think through things. So I figured, well, if they can do it,
and so can I.
So can I. And so I would just experiment and carefully follow the instructions that they did step by step, and voila, it worked. Yeah. So, there's other people. A friend of mine, TJ Wells, does some beautiful work with lightsabers. He makes a lot of little custom parts, and he weathers things. He makes the most beautiful, intricate devices. Wow. Nevin, I'm trying to remember his last name now. Anyway, there's a bunch of them. Yeah. There's a bunch of these guys. I became friends with them on Facebook, and we bounce ideas off each other, and we look at each other's work and stuff like that. And that's helped me. And so I really want to. That was nothing, tragic in the background.
Sorry. It's all good.
That wasn't a lightsaber. It did not fall on the ground.
We're okay.
Anyways, so those are the things that you get inspiration from other people as well, and you learn how to do things from other people as well. Yeah. And I like to share that with people as well. I had one friend who'd never done a crystal chamber. Never done one. The guy's super talented. And I talked to him on the phone. I said, why not?
Yeah.
I just don't know where to start. So I made him a kit. And I gave him instructions on how to do it, sent him the parts, and I said, I want to see what this looks like. Yeah. And so like a week later, he sent me pictures, and
it was all built?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow, that's cool.
I said, put that in something.
Yeah.
That's worth doing. So that's the kind of thing I like to do. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to see other people succeed in that too.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. Wow. So like, this extension of the Star Wars fandom, has it changed the way that you look at like the community as a whole? Like there's different forums and things like that, and you can go down the rabbit hole with just like conversations and things like that. Has that really changed?
There's definitely categories of fans.
Okay.
And I would say there are the creative type, the builders, the makers, and most of these guys and gals, because there are some very talented women as well. Deanna Bellucci's phenomenal. She makes some beautiful stuff. These things, these people look at things differently than a lot of the fan base would. You get a lot of people that want to complain a lot about things. There are people that complain about the second 3 movies not being as good as the first three movies, and they have all kinds of critiques about it. And they don't like the more recent stuff, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's a story.
Yeah.
You know, use some
Fluid.
imagination.
Yeah.
They get hypercritical about stuff. And I've actually had fans start to critique some of my work on Facebook,
Really?
my pictures, and say, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? And it's like, okay, I could have. I really could, but the reason I didn't was because of X, Y, and Z. And, oh, by the way, why don't you put some of your pictures of your work on there? And then I never hear from them again because they've never done anything. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's like, I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to be, throw shade at people.
Yeah,
but
to criticize, just criticize isn't worth anything. Yeah.
No, just be quiet.
Yeah.
And then that's one of the reasons I don't really like doing commissions. I do commissions for friends, but normally what my friends do, because they allow me some creativity, is let me do what I do. Give me an idea of what you want to see, and then just let me do the actual work and come up with what I come up with. So yeah, there are tons and tons and tons of fans. There are people that buy sabers. There's one guy on Facebook I've seen. His saber collection has to be 50 or 60. He's got them all over his walls. And the crazy thing is he turns them all on. Sometimes takes pictures. And the whole thing's just lit up like a temple. It's just amazing to see all these things lit up. And you see some of the intricate work that other people have done in his collection. I mean, he's got sabers in there that were $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000.
Wow.
It's like a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, it's like a painting in a way. It's like a painting. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, fine.
So for any new lightsaber designers that are just coming into it, or longtime designers that are trying to perfect their craft, maybe up until like where you are in your journey, because it's a journey, you're always striving to be better, like as art always is. What are some tips that you can give to them to help them not get frustrated, or because it can be a little overwhelming when you're starting a big project and there's a lot of different details. What are some things that you can do?
Never reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
That's my big tip for people today. Start with something simple, and if somebody has done something that you like, utilize what they've done and make it your own. Okay. You can do anything. You can make your own lightsaber, custom made with a hand drill and a vise.
Really?
Yes.
Is that simple?
You can start with that.
Okay.
And once you get into that, then if you want to do some more custom work, then you consider, a bandsaw, a mill, and a lathe. And of those tools, probably the most important is probably a mill. But you don't even need to get into that unless you're going way beyond it, making your own parts.
Okay.
There's several different companies out there that make beautiful pre-made parts.
Okay.
They even make pre-soldered electronics.
So
you don't have to know how to solder or anything. They have kits that come with the LEDs, the switch, the resistors, the chip, the battery holder.
If you order the
everything.
whole shebang together, you could have a lightsaber set up really easy.
You could literally do the whole thing in a couple of hours.
Wow.
Maybe less.
Really?
If you don't want to paint it, you could probably put it together in an hour. And you can custom mix and match the parts the way you want them.
Okay, I noticed that's a big thing, is a lot of people like you were saying, like critiquers, especially in this fandom, I've noticed is a lot of like hyper attention on to accuracy. And so like
that's not a Sabers fan.
Yeah, like Can
you be too accurate?
Your first lightsaber, your Obi-Wan Kenobi. So was that ever in the thought in front of your mind, thinking about like, do I need to make this accurate? And has it ever gotten to a point where it's been hard to focus in a way? Because I've heard of people doing that, where they over analyze.
Yes, I will say absolutely. And I personally am not a replica maker.
Okay.
There are plenty of companies out there that do beautiful replicas. And even the most intricate replicas are way better than something that I'm going to turn out. It would take me hours and hours and hours to do something that they can do for a fraction of the time and cost.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, that's not something I want to mess with. If I want an accurate Obi-Wan Kenobi hilt, there's plenty of companies that make that. If I want an accurate Anakin hilt, there's plenty of companies that make that. If I want a Star Killer hilt, ditto. So what I usually do is a riff on one of those, and I change little things in it because I like things done a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Feels better in my hand. I like the way it looks. Whatever. I'll make it my own.
The gratification is probably a little bit higher than.
Well, I always like to make my own stuff when I can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really fun turning a piece of metal tube or copper rod or something.
It's enjoyable.
Yes,
Fun. Yeah.
you're creating
Cathartic.
something. Yes, it is. Actually, it is very. I've gone through some tough times in the last few years, and this is my happy place. We lost a couple family members, and you get down. So I just stand in front of my
It's almost meditative in a way.
equipment, and I just lose myself in planning and doing something, putting my mind to use, and it eases my feelings
Tensions,
sometimes.
yeah.
I mean, everybody goes through that, right? Some people do that with music. Some people do it with pottery. Some people do it with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you do. Everybody's going to find their own little sweet spot. That's mine.
That's it.
Wow. Perfect. All right, we can. Do you mind if we move on next to the?
No, that's fine.
To the lightsabers. I know that's what you all have come
Sure.
for, obviously the interview, but also his beautiful work. So let's get into that.
Thanks for listening to Neekology101. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with what's new in the fandom universe. You can find Neekology101 on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. We love to hear from our fans, and your input helps make this show possible. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at God Among Geeks, or you can contact us at Neekology101class@gmail.com. We know that you have a lot of fandom choices out there, so thanks for including us in your fandom universe.